Hello, Bachelor Nation. Welcome to Build Series. I'm your host, HuffPost Lee Blickley, and Hannah Brown's journey came to an end last night on The Bachelorette when she said goodbye to fan favorite Tyler and got engaged to Jed. But everything crumbled when it was revealed that Jed had a girlfriend back at home. Still, Hannah, the true powerhouse she is, right? She's a true powerhouse. We loved it. She ended her engagement, and now she's happily single and in love with, you guessed it, herself. She's here to talk through it all, but first, here's a clip. Please, let's give a standing ovation for Hannah, shall we? Because this is a great season. Such a good season. Hannah, you have been such a great Bachelorette. And I know this season has really tested you, but we all loved it. And I know that we all loved it while watching you kind of get your heart broken. So I know it's kind of like a twisted scenario. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? How everybody really enjoyed the season, but it didn't end the way you necessarily wanted it to.
I've been so thankful for all the support that I have gotten, and I think a lot of that comes from people really being able to see that I stayed authentic and true to myself the whole time. That's what I was looking for in a partner. And unfortunately, that's not what I got. And it's been really hard, and it was heartbreaking. But I am going to continue to stay true and authentic to who I am and what I deserve. And so I think that's really the real victory here. And so my story really did end with a happy ending because I was able to stay Hannah and love myself and be able to be really hopeful for my future on my own.
Yeah. You also, yes, that deserves a round of applause. You also made the Bachelor franchise a feminist franchise, and we all appreciate it so much. It went from Roll Tide to like something completely different. Did you know going in that it was going to be a season that kind of pushed the limits a little bit in what we've seen in the past?
No, I didn't have an agenda of what I wanted, a message that I was trying to let everybody know. I was just being myself and talking from the heart, what I believe in, my values, how I feel like I should be treated, what I'm going to not put up with, and what I believe should be conversations that you have when you're looking for your forever. And that's talking about your sexuality and talking about your faith and the things that are important to you and having bigger conversations than what I think we've seen in the past. And that's just because I was really open and vulnerable with the guys that I was looking to see my forever with. And so therefore I was open and honest with everybody that was watching.
And even I loved even when you tested your dad a little bit, being like, I don't need a man to provide for me. Like, I'm independent. I can provide for myself.
Yeah, yes.
Did it surprise you how much you kind of grew throughout this process? Because I know when you were first on Colton season or introduced as the Bachelorette, you were a little nervous, but it seems like you really like came into your own skin during this whole thing.
Yeah, with Colton season, I started the journey of really being able to accept who I am. I am not the cookie cutter pageant queen that I tried so hard to be for so long, and was able to start accepting that. But I think through my journey as the Bachelorette, I really flourished as a woman and as a strong woman and realized how strong I am. And I have been through a lot, but I've come out on top because I'm really feel the power that I have inside of me, and that doesn't come from the validation of a man.
Yep, that's exactly right. And we still have the windmill, right? Cheers to that. Let's cheers to the windmill.
Cheers to Peter.
Yeah. Who is so cute, by the way. And I saw like a little, did anybody else see like extra chemistry the other night when I was like, is Hannah single? Because I'm feeling like I'm looking at the sparks. How does it feel, though? I don't want to harp on it too much because I know you've been talking about it all day, but of course things didn't work out with Jed, and it sucks what happened, and Jed sucks, so we can just say that. I know you don't want people to think that, but how did it feel, though, knowing that somebody who you thought really was being so truthful throughout this and had your back kind of didn't end up being who you thought he was?
It sucked. A lot of people always go back to that first one-on-one we had together when he did tell me that he did not come on this show expecting to find love, that he came for his music career. And in that moment, I was still battling with some of those insecurities that I had. And for me, I didn't think that, I thought all the guys had, even if they were really open to love, they maybe had hidden agendas, which that's on me that I thought that. But I think when he told me that, I took that as just being honest, because I am not going to sit here and say that this show did not open up a platform for me to be able to reach a lot of people. There was nothing behind that. Like, when I first started getting more than the followers that I had before, it started freaking me out. I'm like, oh gosh, my stories are freaking weird. So, but I didn't come on this show for fame or for all that's come with that. I think that I can use that for my benefit, but that wasn't for me. But I do know that there are people that see this as an opportunity. And so to hear that that's what he thought, but that he had started to have feelings for me, and I did feel that, and I do think and know that he did love me in the end. I held on to that as, wow, this guy was honest with me, and sometimes being honest is hard, and that surely was hard for him, and I'm honest to a fault, and so I'm looking for somebody who can be that honest back, because if you can't handle it, then we're gonna have some troubles. And so that was really the first time that I was like, okay, like, I am really into this guy. He has values that I'm really looking for, and one of those is somebody that can be honest with me even in the tough times. So now looking back, what really drew me into him from the very beginning is the thing that separated us at the end, and that a lot of that honesty was actually a half-truth. And you know, I tried to make the decisions with what I had, but it's not on me that somebody else wasn't honest. I just had to stay honest for myself, and I always believe that if something like that happens, you're going to find out eventually. And I found out maybe a little bit later than I wanted to, but I still was able to make the decision to be on my own and to realize that's not what I signed up for, not what I thought I was getting, and not what I want in going into a marriage. And so I was able to step away from that. So I'm glad I was able to make that decision.
Oh, yeah, when you took that ring off and you put it on the table, I think we have a clip of it. It was such a moment where it was just like, I can't base a marriage off of a lie. And I know you kind of continued staying. You stayed with him a little longer after this, or was this the complete end?
Really, after that, we tried to have a conversation the next day, but I left and just sobbed because I knew it was over. Once I found out from a People article when he had multiple opportunities to tell me, it's just, my heart was completely pulling away from him in that moment. There was really no going back after that.
So how long after you guys got engaged did you end things? How long were you together?
Maybe like 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
It must have been hard because I know you were here when the show first started kicking off, and I had asked some weird questions now looking back about secret girlfriends. And was it hard to do that original press tour knowing you knew how it was kind of unfolding, but yet you still had to pretend?
Well, I
like,
didn't at that
was...
point, actually, because I came straight from Greece from my engagement, and the day after, I had one day after with him, and that's when he told me he had a girl that he was hanging out with, and if anything came out, they were just hanging out, and that I asked him, I was like, well, did you end it? Like, this is frustrating because the very first night I was like,
Who has secret
who has
girlfriends?
girlfriends, and we got to get you out. And so I tried to trust him in that. But I didn't know the extent of that until everybody else found out. I found out with the world over a People magazine article. So in that moment, I was still happy about what just happened. But also, I mean, God, I was, the day I got engaged, I broke up with another guy too, which Jed knew. I mean, newsflash, I dated 30 guys at one time. So I didn't have a secret boyfriend. I had another boyfriend.
It's also the name of the game. Like, he's on a show and it's your show. And
so he knew
what
I
you're
had a
supposed to
boyfriend,
be
but I
doing.
broke up with him before I got engaged. And it's true.
It's true.
It did. So yeah, it's been difficult even looking back at those interviews, and the same thing I keep preaching is honesty, trust. That's what I was looking for, a person that loved me unconditionally. And I think loving somebody unconditionally is being completely transparent, and I didn't get that.
And like what you mentioned too about you dating other guys, and I know I saw Jed liked a post where he was like, well, you know, Hannah dated all these guys, so she should be able to forgive me. Does that kind of bother you that he's like now, you know, doing that after you guys seemingly had a respectable end where...
Oh, I don't really follow Jed, so I don't know.
I hope you follow Tyler, though.
I do now. But I mean, he's hurting this too, and yeah, it might be because of his own doings, but I know he did care about me, and it's easy to justify things when you're hurting, so maybe that's what he's doing, but I don't know. Wish him well.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to happier things and more good-looking things. Tyler Cameron, right? He has become his own little star.
I know.
But you guys were so cute last night, and I can't wait to be invited to this drink, just as like a fellow friend. But how was it for you to, you know, when you said goodbye to him, it had to be hard enough, but then he gave you this great speech back where he was just like, I hope Jed makes you happy, and I just want you to be happy. I mean, this guy is one of a kind.
Yeah. And at first I was like, why is he... Like, it's okay to be upset. Like, I know you cared about me, but he wanted that day to be my day. Mm-hmm. And he wanted that to be happy for me, and wasn't going to do anything to jeopardize that for me, which was so selfless of him to do, when I know that was really hard. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I do think that he had full intentions of that being him and I that day, but that he was able to just support me even when I was breaking his heart just shows that he's a great guy, and I'm lucky to have had him in my life, and to go and get drinks with him and either be friends or however we move forward, to have him in my life still.
That's so sweet. And was it hard now, you know, knowing how what happened with Jed, and knowing that you could have had the opportunity, even with Peter and Tyler, mm-hmm. to find that happy ending, and it was kind of taken away from you? Or do you not regret anything, or you have to kind of move on?
I know I said to Jed I was upset because I was always honest about how it's when we were together, and even in those last conversations that I was before the engagement, that I was struggling with him, and with the other feelings I had for the two other guys that I had really started to fall in love with. And sometimes it hurts to know like what could have been, but ultimately this was my journey, and it all happened and good came out of it. And there's a silver lining because I am so much more strong from all this. I mean, when you go through something, a heartbreak, you can either break with that or grow with that. And I chose to grow and move on, and to reflect and know that I deserve more. And yes, was with Peter and Tyler, could I have had a wonderful life? Sure. But I tried to make the best decision I could at that time, and I can't be upset with myself for that. And I'm just looking forward to my future and to all the guys' future that were on this journey with me.
And drinks with Tyler. Yeah.
And drinks with Tyler.
It's kind of nice, too, even if you guys remain friends, just because I'm sure you have a really nice foundation and you have a bit of trust between you where you went on this journey together. And it's probably nice to have somebody that you can lean on.
Yeah, I'm truly excited to have drinks with him so that we can just talk about what the crap we just went through, because nobody can really understand what it's like. And we went through that experience together, and it will be great to just
be away from the
where
cameras, right?
Yeah, and have and I do. I want to be a part of his life in some capacity that we both feel like we are happy and can continue striving for our happiness and future success. And so, however that is, I am all on board with that.
Well, I do want to toss to the Instagram post that he posted today. I don't know if
really sweet.
It's so sweet.
Yeah, I read it for like a half a second, and but it was really sweet. It was a nice little break from all the media today. I was like, oh, thanks, TC.
Because I'm sure it's been wild. Now, I know that he's technically your second choice, but
I would not say that. I hate that.
What would you like to tell him if you could write a post just to him, like he addressed to you? What would be some of the stuff that you'd like to tell him?
Gosh. Well, I kind of want to save that for just him and I. I think a lot of my life and our relationship has all been for you guys to see, but I think after what we've both been through, that it's important that I can keep some things just for him and not for other people to know. But ultimately, I know that I have somebody who will always be my biggest fan and my biggest cheerleader, and I'm really just thankful for Tyler. I know he says that I made him who he is today, but he's definitely been a part of supporting me to be the strong woman that I am, and I think you see that from our experience together and even after.
That's so sweet. Guys, we really want this to work, right? Even if you guys are just friends, though, it's really special. This is a unique situation because usually, you do end up in a couple. But I have to say, this is really exciting for all of us to see. And now we're all going to be behind you and supporting you in whatever you want to do. Now, do you want to stay single a little longer and just kind of enjoy and get past all of this? Or are you looking to kind of jump back into finding something with someone?
I don't think I took my engagement seriously. That wasn't just a... yes, I am. When I say like Tyler wasn't a second choice, it's because I didn't see. I've been struggling with that decision for a while. I loved both of them, and I chose the safer choice when I look back at it. But I think that we can't go back to talking about an engagement. We have to start as friends, and I don't really want to start dating anybody else either. I just want to continue this road of being strong and being independent and having people to support me through that.
Yeah, what would be the next steps for you? I know usually Bachelor contestants can go on Dancing with the Stars or, get a lot of Instagram followers. But what's kind of your goal? Because I know you're an interior designer, but you're also great on camera. I could see you hosting maybe.
Yeah.
Just don't take my job.
It's really, I am open to a lot of different avenues to continue sharing my story and to use this platform that, yes, everybody was in on my personal life, and it was for the public, and that can be hard, but there's so much to learn from what I went through, my highs and my lows and the things I learned. So I want to continue using the people that the support that I've gotten and the people that are following my journey to push that message. And whether that is through sharing my passions of interior decorating and design, or being still in front of the camera, or however that may be, I'm really excited about that. I don't think I'm going to be an Instagram blogger, influencer that you've ever seen before. I'm just going to be Hannah, but you know, I just want to continue sharing my story very authentically and don't want to change that. And I can be called out for that if I ever start. So I just want to stay this way and just have people tag along for what's next.
Yeah, now if Chris Harrison came to you and said, Hannah, we want to make you the first, do a Bachelorette again, would you, like a Brad Womack situation?
I don't know if anybody's prepared for another Hannah Beast Bachelorette. That's including myself. I can't even talk about that at this point. I definitely know that this is something that can work for people. Just because it didn't work for me the conventional way, I felt love and I was able to give love. And I know that you can fall in love and find your person. This time, the person that I found was myself. And I'm really thankful for the opportunity that I had.
Yeah. And you all taught us to avoid the Luke P's of the world and the Jeds of the world.
Somebody's got to do it.
And before I toss to some questions from the audience and Twitter, who, I know you probably get this question a lot, but I'm personally rooting for Mike to be the Bachelor. I think we really need a Black Bachelor on our television screens. I think it's time. But I'm curious, a lot of people are behind Peter as well. I'm sure I'll get some woos for Peter.
Yeah.
But who do you think would make a good Bachelor? Or should they even go back further and just get somebody else?
I think both Peter and Tyler are wonderful and could be great leads for the show, and I would support them in that. But ultimately, I keep saying ultimately, I'm sorry, guys. I am not the person to decide that. I don't think anybody thought that I would be the Bachelorette. I mean, maybe you did, if so, go you. But I think there are people that get to know us and can make those decisions for who can be able to do this, because let me tell you, it's hard, and I just have no business choosing that, but I'm very supportive of whoever may go on to be a rose handler.
I love the rose handler. You had some good guys, though.
Yeah, they were great.
So I'm going to toss it to some audience questions.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
So you showed a lot of strength during the season, whether it be you were taking down toxic masculinity or taking control of your sexuality. At any point while you were filming or even after, did you feel any responsibility to be perceived as like a feminist role model?
I didn't. I truly didn't. I was myself, and I talked about things that were important to me and important in my relationship and to who I am, and to find a partner, they didn't need to know what is important and who I am. And so when I started seeing people calling me this feminist and empowered woman, of course I felt that, but that I've become a role model, and that is really neat, and was another layer to the wonderful opportunities this has brought to me. But I was just being myself. I wasn't trying to push any agenda. It's just things that I care about and are important to me.
And Jesus loves her, guys.
Amen.
And we all do too. Who's next? Right here.
Hi. So, big question. When and where are these drinks with Tyler, and are we invited?
You're not invited. But I don't know. We have, but I think he's been doing press today, and I have. I took a red eye through the night to get here to you all, so we'll see.
Yeah,
and
he lives in New York. I know you
know.
moved to LA, so maybe you should just come on to hang out with us, right? You can just
Yeah, but I don't know. I do like New York, but I'm liking LA. So we'll see. But I don't know if we're going to tell anybody. So
That would be, when you mentioned the Instagram thing, maybe like we all want to see it, but it might be weird for you to be like, we finally did it.
and if we want to do that, we can. But I would rather just talk to him about that and see what we want to do with
Well,
it.
if you're hanging out in New York, we'll just sit at
Yeah,
every
I'll call
bar,
you all
right?
up, yeah.
All right, we have time for one more. Here we go.
Hey, Hannah, how's it
Hi.
going? How are you? We're rooting for you.
Thank
So after going on this adventure to find love, what's the best advice you can give to future bachelorettes and bachelors for the show?
Stay true to yourself. It's really hard, I think, to do that for some people. I can't be anything else because when I try, it's painfully obvious. So I had to just stay true. But when you're looking for someone you want to spend the rest of your life with, they need to know who that person is. And I can completely attest to that. And it's going to make your experience probably harder. And people are not judging and criticizing a character that you've made of yourself, but they're criticizing you. But it's worth it because you can't have any regrets when you're just yourself. So,
Well, I think that's why we loved Hannah's season, right? You were completely yourself. I'm going to miss seeing you on my TV.
thanks.
I'm sure you'll be around. And cheers to a great season, and cheers to your happy ending one. You'll get it.
Yes.